This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. So guys, we had discussed server-side APIs. Today we are going to start business rules. Okay. So we are going to start with business rules. So first we will actually discuss about business rules. Okay. So guys, business rules. Okay. So what are business rules? Business rules are something that which will run once a record is submitted. Once a record is submitted, this business rules will run, guys. So using these business rules, we can create a new records, we can update existing records, we can send notifications. So we can do a lot of operations, lot of things using business rules. Okay. So guys, this concept is very important. Business rules are something that which are used to create the records or update the related records. And if you want to do some many integrations, then we will actually use business rules. Okay. So the business rules will run once the record is submitted. Okay. Guys, just remember, business rules will run once the record is submitted. So consider we have actually incident form here. So you have actually opened incident form here. You have filled in all these details. Okay, you filled in all these details. You filled in all these details and you submitted it. Okay, you submitted it. Once you submitted it, okay, after the submission, the business rules will run. Once you click on the submit here, these business rules will run. Okay. So guys, here to navigate to business rules, you can just right click, configure, go to business rules. Go to business rules. Okay. So here in this business rules, you can just click on new here. So here in this business rules, here you will actually provide the name. And after that, this is actually the table on which table you want to write business rule. So here this is active button, right? If you don't want this, you will actually inactivate this one. So guys, if you want to do advanced things, you will have to select advanced checkbox. Once you select advanced checkbox here, you will actually see this is the place where you will actually write scripting in the business rule. Okay. So here in the first tab, you can see there are actually 4 types of business rules. So how many types of business rules are there? How many types of business rules are
Four.
there?
4 types.
4 types of business rules are there. What are those? Before, after, async, display. Okay, before, after, async, display. So guys, remember, there are actually 4 types of business rules: before, after, async, display. So we will actually discuss one by one now. After that, there is an order. So let us say there are actually um, 5 before business rules. There are actually five before business rule. So in the five before business rules, which one should run first? Consider there are actually 5 business rules, 5 before business rules. So which one should run first? So we will have to take the order number here. Okay. So we'll have to take the order number here. So which one has to run first? Which one has to run first? You will have to consider that one. Okay. So here order. So let us say you will create one business rule. Before business rule, you will give the order 10. So order with the lowest number will actually run first. If you give 1000, so order with the highest number will run last. Okay. So before insert, update, delete, query. So these are actually called operations. Okay. So let us say before creation, before the data get inserted into the database, the script should run means you will select before insert.
Okay.
Before update means you will select update. So let us say after update, so you will select after update, or else after insert, or you will select after insert. So if you want async insert, you will actually select async insert. So in the display, you won't be able to see any operation here. When you select display here, you won't be able to see any operation here. So we have before, after, async business rule and display business rule. So here it is actually condition. Okay, so based on condition, the script will be triggered. So it has to meet this condition to run this script. Okay. Now, so based on role, if you want to run the business rule, you will actually select the role. So based on the role you want to run the business rule, you will select the role. Okay. So let us say if you want to update this table, incident table values, incident table field values, then you will go to actions here. The incident fields you will get automatically. All these are actually incident fields. Incident fields all you will obviously get here. If you want to update incident fields directly, then you will use these actions. Or else, if you are updating problem or change request or request item or any other table, then you will have to go to advanced. Okay. So if you are actually updating the incident table field values, then you will actually use this one, actions tab. So if you are actually updating another field tables, another table fields, then you will actually check advanced checkbox. So advanced tab here. Okay, you will check advanced tab here. So guys, now we will actually discuss this part here. Okay. So business rules. So we had discussed when does this business rules run? Whenever you submit the form. Consider this is actually form. Okay, consider this is actually the form. So you filled the values like color, short description, and description, and you submitted it. Once you submitted this one, the business rules will run. So we had discussed how many types of business rules are there.
4.
4.
So yeah.
One is before, after, async,
Conditions.
display. So there are actually 4 types of business rules. So consider, guys, whatever the data that you entered, right? Whatever the data that you entered in the form, okay, whatever the data that you entered in the form, okay, that values will get stored somewhere. The values, the data should get stored somewhere. So where does it get stored? Where does it get stored, guys?
Database.
Current object.
Sorry.
Database.
In database it will store. Okay. So guys, once you submit this one, before the data gets stored into the database, the before business rule will run. Understand my point? Guys, you are able to understand?
Yes.
So once you submit this one, right? Before the data gets stored into this database, the before business rule will run. Before the data gets stored into this database, the before business rule will run. Okay. So once you submitted this one, this before business rule will run, and after running this before business rule, the data gets stored the data will get stored in this database. Once the data gets stored in this database, the after business rule will and the after business rule and async business rule will run. Okay. See, here we will have to understand about this database, guys. Once you submit the form, the data will get stored in this database. Before the data gets stored into this database, the before business rule will run. Hope you are able to understand.
Yes, Uday.
Yes, Uday. Yeah.
Once you submit this one, the before business rule will run. After that, the data will get stored in this database. After that, once the data gets stored in this database, the after business rule and async business rule will run. Okay. So after business rule and async business rule will run. Okay, guys. Then when does this display business rule will run? When does this display business rule will run? So this display business rule will run every time when you load the form. Every time when you load the form, so every time when you load the form, the display business rule will run. So every time when you load the form, the display business rule will run. So do you guys remember there is one script that will run in the form load?
Onload.
Unload.
So onload client script will run every time when you load the form. But onload client script will run in the client side. But display business rule will run in the server side. Hope you guys are able to understand. Okay. So guys, now I'm actually going to this board here. So I'm submitting this one, this before business rule will run. And so the data will get stored into this database. Once it is stored into the database, the after business rule will run. Once it is after business rule and async business rule will run. And then, so every time when you load the form, the display business rule will run. So guys, we will actually see practical demo here. Okay. So here, what am I going to do is I'm going to write a before business rule. So before insert, see here, this is actually -1, new record. So before the data gets created, before the record get created into the database, I am writing before business rule here now. So update caller details. So here I am actually checking advanced. Before insert, that means before creation of the record into the database. See here. So before creation of record into the database, I'm actually mentioning something like this. So here what am I doing is condition I'm actually keeping as caller is not empty. Caller is not empty. Okay. So here in the scripting, here you guys can see there are actually two objects, current object, previous object. Current objects you guys are already know. You guys already know what is current object. What is the purpose of current object, guys?
It holds the current form
It
value.
holds the current value object field.
So it holds the current field values. So current form field values it will hold. So what does previous object does? Let us say you have selected caller here as able tutor. So able tutor is actually the current value. So if you move it to Abraham Lincoln, able tutor will become previous value, Abraham Lincoln will become the current value. Understand my point?
Yes, sir.
See, Abraham Lincoln value is there, right? I am selecting Alina Modern, Elisa. So Abraham Lincoln will become previous value. Elisa will become the current value. Understand? Guys, understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Uday, yes.
So that is actually the difference between current and previous. Previous object will hold the previous values, current object will hold the current values. So here what am I doing is, I am actually keeping current. So my requirement, let me just explain my requirement here. So the caller first name, last name, email, department should get updated before the data get inserted into the database. Try to understand one thing. The caller first name, last name, email, department should get updated and then the data get inserted into the database. Understand the requirement?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
See, before the data gets inserted into the database, these fields has to be updated. Okay, here what am I telling is, once you submit this one, right? So the caller first name, last name, email, department should be updated here using before business tool, and then the data should be inserted into this database is what I am actually telling. Got my point?
Yes.
So here in this case, what am I doing is, I am actually writing current dot. So current field, that is actually u underscore first name equal to, okay. So second line, current dot u underscore Last underscore name equal to current dot u underscore email equal to current dot u underscore department equal to. So guys, here the point that you guys have to remember is okay. So here the caller first name, last name, email, department should be populated here. So guys, here in ServiceNow there is a concept of dot working. There is a concept of dot working. We can always dot work the reference fields. We can always dot work the reference fields in the server side scripting. We can always dot work the reference field. Let us say here you can actually, this is reference field, you can dot work it. So here in this reference field you have actually user ID, first name, last name, department. So department is also a reference field. So let us say if you want this caller department head, if you want this caller department head, so you can dot work current dot u underscore caller dot u underscore department dot department head. So department head is actually raw. Okay. So here you can actually dot work something like no reference fields. You can dot work the reference fields. Consider guys, in the assign to, not in the assign to, is there any user field affected caller? Something like that, there is no field, right? So always remember, we are actually going off track. Always remember, we can actually dot work the reference fields. Caller is actually a reference field. So by dot working the caller field, I will get the first name, last name, email, department. So how can I dot work? How can I dot work? So here using, so current dot. So I will actually get the caller value using current dot u underscore caller dot first name. So what is this first name? This is actually the field name in the user table. Okay. Last name, email, department. So now I have actually created before insert. Before insert, and the caller is not empty, and populate the first name, last name, email as caller's first name, caller's last name, caller's email, caller's department. Okay. So now I am just, so the caller is actually Elisa. So here I'm actually filling the mandatory fields. I am going to save this one. So what exactly will happen when I save this one? The first before business rule will run. So this before business rule will actually check whether this is actually created record creation or not, because we have actually selected insert here. So before business rule will check so whether it is insertion or updation. So it will actually find insertion. So then before insert business rule will run. So in the before insert business rule, it will check whether the caller is empty or not. So caller is not empty. So then what exactly will happen is that it will actually update these fields, and then the data will be inserted into the database. There is a script, guys, that is actually holding this one. Let me just inactivate the script. Something went wrong. So Alicia has first name, last name, department, email address as well. Karandada first name, U underscore first name, U underscore last name, U underscore email, U underscore department. So we did keep everything in detail here. Karandada first name, last name, email. So before insert, so somewhere it is actually overriding, guys. And just let me just remove this condition here. Somewhere it is breaking. Okay. I identified the issue, guys. The caller field name is actually caller ID here. See caller ID here. So here we are actually keeping u underscore caller here. It should be caller underscore ID. Now this will work now. So now I am going to submit this one. See, the first name, last name, email, department got updated and it has inserted into the database. See here whether this is inserted into the database or not, we will check by refreshing it. See, the data is inserted into the database. Okay, the values are stored in this database. So let me just give it a try with another record here. So what is it doing? So here you are actually selecting the caller here as Parnath. Parnath here you have actually selected. So here I am just saving this one. So whoever the caller you select, that caller first name, last name, email, department will be automatically populated. So using before business rule, we are going to populate this one, and then we are actually updating the record into the database. See, the details got updated using this before business rule, and the data get inserted into the database. Do you guys agree?
Yes, Uday.
So do you guys understand dot working concept?
Yes, Uday.
Do you guys understand dot working concept? So guys, this caller department head, I want to get this caller department head. Consider this caller's department head manager. I want this caller's department head manager. Try to understand logic here. So who is this caller department? So caller department is actually product management. So let me just open this caller here. So here in this caller, so department is actually product management. So department head is actually Rob. So who is Rob manager? Who is Rob manager here? So Rob has manager or not? So where is manager field here? So let me just get the manager field on the form.
Manager field already there, right?
Right,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Manager is not there here, right? For Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So who is actually manager for Rob? I am actually adding someone as Rob manager. Alfano, Alisa is actually Rob's, not Alisa. Rob, Abraham Lincoln is actually the Rob manager. So guys, here whoever the caller that you selected, that caller department's head manager I want. The caller department's head manager I want. So how do I get that? So by dot walking this one. So how do you dot walk? You can dot walk reference fields. Here if you see this caller's department is actually a reference field. Okay, in this department head is also a reference field. In this department head, I'm actually checking manager. So manager is also a reference field. Always remember we can dot walk reference fields. Okay. So now here in the incident form, I am going to create a new field, user field. I'm going to create a new field. That is actually new color I'm giving. Reference I'm actually taking user table. See, this column department heads manager should be populated here. So here in this before business rule, what am I doing is I'm actually dot working the dot u underscore new underscore collar equal to collar id dot department dot dept underscore head dot manager. Okay. So now you guys can see here, I am actually selecting Parnath here. So here I'm actually selecting the assignment group as here. I'm just saving this one. See, here these details got populated, and here in the new column, Abraham Lincoln name is populated. Who is Abraham Lincoln? So Rob's manager is Abraham Lincoln. So this color department head. So this color department head. This color department head is actually Rob. Who is Rob's manager? Abraham Lincoln. That Abraham Lincoln name is actually populated here. So you guys are able to understand the dot working concept.
Yes, Uday.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So here what we have done, we have actually submitted the form, and the before business rule has done. It has updated the current record, and it has inserted the data into the database. Now we have actually after business rule and async business rule here. Both will run whenever the data get inserted into the database. The after business rule and async business rule will run. Okay. So guys, always remember, before we move on to this after and async business rule, here in the before business rule, we can also stop the database insertion or updation. So here I'm actually doing the validation in the server side. Check color is empty. Okay. So if the color is empty, we should not able to submit the form, right? So we can actually make that using a client script also we can do. But I am actually doing the validations in the server side. So I will actually check the whether color is empty or not. Okay. Color is empty. Before insert or updated, when the color is empty. So what I do is I will actually about the action, I will add a message saying color is mandatory to create or update the record. Okay. So here what am I doing is, I'm actually creating. So I'm actually filling in these details. I'm not filling the collar. Collar is empty. When the collar is empty, you won't be able to submit the data into the database. You're able to submit before insert or update. I am actually making this as order 10. Okay, you have actually given the color here, right? If the color is empty, you won't be able to submit that one. So why this current logged in user is getting populated here? Current logged in user, how this current logged in user name is getting populated here? I think there is an onboard client script here that might be. This system administrator. So why this system administrator name is getting populated is what I'm little concerned. This is the reason.
Default files.
See, what is it telling? Invalid insert. Caller is mandatory to create or update the record. So when does this actually running? This is actually running in the before business rule. It is actually checking whether the caller is mandatory or not, whether the caller is filled in or not. So here, if this caller is filled in, it will actually let the data get saved into the database. If the caller is not filled in, the caller is empty. So it will actually throw an error saying invalid insert or update. Caller is mandatory to create or update the record. Okay. So here we have done server validation. We can also do server validations using before business rule. Okay. So same thing, right? Whatever that I have specified here, right? The same thing, if I want to do it using scripting, I can also do that. Okay. So here how I can do that is that if current dot caller ID not equal to MP or equal to MP, you will abort the action using current dot set about action as true. Okay, current dot set about action as true. So now, same requirement I am going to try it using I am going to save this one. See here, what is it saying? Invalid insert. Why is it saying invalid insert? Because the collar is empty. If the collar is empty, don't insert the record. So here you can also keep an error message, gs dot add error message. Collar is mandatory. See what is it telling? Collar is mandatory, invalid insert. So if you have filled in this collar, so it will let you save the data into the database. Okay. So here this collar has department, customer support. So customer support. So customer support department, who is customer support department head? Customer support has Rob. So Rob has manager or not? We will actually have to check. So Rob has manager or not? So Rob has no manager. That is why it did not populate new column here. Okay. So guys, likewise, you will actually dot work the things. You will actually stop the form submission in the server side. So in the client side, if you want to stop the form submission, so where can you stop the form submission in the client side?
UA policy.
UA policy or on submit client script?
Client script. On
In the
subject.
on submit client script, in the on submit client script, you will actually use return false statement to stop the form submission. Are you guys able to recall?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, tomorrow we will actually discuss about after business rule and SE business rule. Okay. And display business rule as well. So once it is submitted, this before business rule will run, and in the before business rule, if you want to stop the form submission, you can actually stop the form submission here itself, and you will not allow the data to insert or update into the database. So if everything is good here in this before business rule, you will let the data get created or updated here in this database. And once the data gets created or updated here in this database, this after our SE business rule will run, and coming to this display, this will run every time when you reload the form. Okay. Hope you are able to understand. Guys?
Yes, Uday.
Yes, Uday.
Yeah.
So, okay, guys, we'll see you tomorrow then. Okay.
Then we have to use the new login details tomorrow as well.
Sorry.
Do we have to
Zoom
use
ID.
the new link?
Yeah, you guys have to use new link to join the sessions because the previous one got expired.
Okay.
అదే రేపు క్లాస్ ఉంటుంది రేపు సాటర్డే కదండి
Sorry.
రేపు క్లాస్ ఉంటుందండి రేపు సాటర్డే కదా
రేపు Saturday.
అవునండి
We have already come to Saturday. I am not really, I'm little confused, guys. When is Saturday? When is Sunday? Today is Friday.
Days
Yeah.
are going very fast. Uday.
Very quick. It's been 6th week, like we started our training.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. See, guys, you guys know I'm trying to give the knowledge as much as I can. That is why I'm taking time, because or else I would have completed the training 1 week ago.
No, that we're all fine.
It's good going slowly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Yeah. I will let you know, guys, because I'm planning to travel my hometown. If not, I'll let you know. Okay.
Yeah, okay, Uday. Yeah, please put a message on the WhatsApp.
Uday, can
Okay, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, Uday, can